Hi, welcome to BPTV. I'm your host, Andy Amrine, and today we got another segment of Handy Andy. We appreciate you always tuning in and watching all the home improvement tips that we talk about time and again. And today we're going to be talking about electronic gadget hookups. During the holiday seasons or birthdays or whatever, a lot of people get a lot of electronic gadgets, whether it's games, whether it's computers, whether it's TVs, or whether it's all the cell phones out there. And people have a lot of issues with hooking it up and with charging it. And the more we get and the less space we have in the way of plugs, then the harder it gets, or the more octopuses, I'll call them, that you have springing around your kitchen counters or your nightstands or your desks or something. And there's a way that you could be organizing a lot of that cabling, a lot of those charger units, a lot of the power cords, to make it less messy for you. So today I brought with me a lot of different products that we're using in the charging and cabling mechanisms with that. And I want to start by talking about surge suppressors. And surge suppressors are an item that a lot of people never even think about. When you have your electricity flowing through the power lines and into your house and into the cables, a lot of times you will get a power surge or you'll get a power interruption. So whether it is something that is with lightning strikes, or whether it is something that the power is going off the grid and you get a surge more than your 120 volts, you might get 125, or you might even get a little bit less than that. That could damage your electronics in your house, whether it's your computer, your TV, your charging stations, and so forth. A surge is something that you really need to be considering. And it could be something just as small and insignificant of this little surge adapter. It just plugs into a regular outlet. You have your computer power strip or whatever plugged into there, and this will take a surge of that power to maybe damage this, but it's not going to damage a $1,000 TV or a $2,000 computer system. But when we're talking about surges, there's good, better, best type of surge protection. Surge are rated in joules. That's J-U-L-E-S, joules. And the higher the joule number, the better the rating is going to be on the products and the capable of handling a power surge itself. So you have devices that you can get that are a 200 joule, and you can get devices that are a 2000 joule, and everything in between. I like to see a joule rating that's at least 1,000, 900, 1,000. You drop under that, it's okay. It's better than nothing, but it's not going to take a huge fluctuation in the power itself on it. So whether you're just plugging single things in or getting the bigger strips, the one thing to realize is there's a big variety of power strips out there. You could be going into your True Value store or your big box store, and you're going to find power strips that are $2.99. There's a reason they're like that. They're just an inefficient power strip. They have no surge suppressing. They have no probably on-off switch. They have no circuit breakers in them, and they have no charging capabilities for any of the other phone adapters, your USB ports. A power strip like this, you're talking about $20 for this kind of power strip. But with this power strip, some of the nice things about them is they have a plug end that's a 90-degree end. So it plugs in and the cord drops straight down. You don't have a cord that is going to be plugged in this way and sticking right out of a wall. Along with that, it has an on-off switch, and along with that on-off switch, that's an built-in circuit breaker. So if it takes a spike, that could just trip the breaker and not damage and not blow out the surge unit on it. But also this has a 2000 joule rating. So this is going to take anything the power company is going to throw at you. And even at $20, wouldn't you rather have this damaged by a heavy strike or a lightning strike instead of having something like your new $1,000 TV set with it? But along with that, you'll see that you have USB ports on there. So you have a power strip, and this has your 6 outlets. It even has the wider ones for the transformers, but it also has the USB jacks on it. It also has the breaker and the on-off switch on it. It also has a nicer type of plug on here. So these are some of the things that you really should be looking at when you're buying a power strip, not just your $2 one that can't do anything for you other than pretending it's a short extension cord. Now there's also ones that are designed really for the TV part of it. This has all the power strips on it. This has your surge suppressing on it, but it also has the hookups here for the coax cables. So you have your in and out ports of your coax, so you can run everything and protect everything through a power strip like this, where it's designed more for the TV than it is designed for, say, computers and that on it. Also, you have small type units. You have a unit like this RCA unit, and this one, which makes this nice, it has rollout type outlets on it, and it's only going to take up one jack, so it plugs in, and that way if you have cords and they're coming in different directions, they're going to be a lot easier for you to be using it. This is the surge, and this also tells you whether you have the proper ground capability and everything with it. So it's a nice convenient unit if you don't have the space or you don't want to be running the power strips in them. Another way of doing them is going to be with these type of devices that have outlets on the back. I mean, so you're just plugging it into an outlet. There's two different ones here on it. And also with this one is going to have a double outlet and two USB on it. This one is a single outlet with two USB on it. Now, something like this is what I call a charging plate unit. This one does not have the surge. This one has the outlets, it has the joule rating, it has the USB ports on it. So once again, for turning a regular outlet into something that can be used for your charging station on it. But what I would like to show you is a way of even avoiding items like this is you can be going into changing the actual outlets itself. So say you have a typical outlet in your house. This is just a two-plug outlet. This is what a lot of people have in their house. How easy would it be for you to just change it to have your typical two outlets, but it's also going to have your two USB charge ports on it? Now, this is something that you will need an electrician, a handyman, someone who's not afraid of, three wires. So this is a pretty quick install. I'm talking maybe 10 minutes. You turn the power off, you're changing the white and black wire, the green, the ground wire, and so forth. But this way, instead of having a power strip that you're getting or an adapter or something for it to have your USB ports on it, you could change your outlet, say on your kitchen counter or right by your nightstand, where it's going to have those jacks already built on it, and then you could just plug your USB into it and have just your charging wire run to your phone or your laptop or whatever it is that you're charging. A couple other fun things along with this line that I could show you. This is a travel one. On this one itself, a lot of people will go to a hotel and they won't have the wherewithal at the hotel to have enough charging ports or anything with it. So this one is nice, compact. You can put it in your travel bag, your carry bag. It has a snap out plug, so the plug isn't going to get in your way while you're storing it and carrying it. It's not going to hook into your socks or sweaters or anything, but you can snap it in. It'll give you additional outlet and these outlets actually will swivel, and then along with it, it gives you your USB ports with it. But this is also a surge, and this is also a ground. It makes sure that you are properly grounded. It makes sure you have your USB, and it takes care of the surge for the outlet. So it's a really nice travel component for doing those taking along when you're not sure whether the hotel you're going to or wherever you're traveling is going to have enough outlets for it. Some of the other fun gadgets, and I call them fun gadgets with it, this is a soundboard. With this one, this is a device that it's just a nice, flat, compact. It has your outlet jacks, your USB jacks, and so forth on it. It has your volume controls on it. You can just lay your cell phone on top. So out of the box, you would just be laying your cell phone on top, and it'll automatically charge your cell phone. But along with that, it'll automatically turn this into a speaker. So you could just put your phone on here, talk, if you're just putting it on speakerphone and talking, or you can run your music or anything right off of your phone, but this will be charging your phone as you're playing. So it's an all-in-one. You have your sound flow with it, you have your soundboard. I call it a Power Plus type of unit. Pretty cool type of device. Along with it, if you don't want it charging and you just want your speaker, these are the new Bluetooth type speaker units where you're just connecting. It's all wireless for it, but this is a very nice, clear, crisp kind of speaker that you can use to access coming off of your phone. Along with that, the proper screen cleaning kit. So whether this is, you're using this for your computer, you're using it for your TV, you're using it for your phones, this is a complete cleaning kit that is not going to be scratching or damaging any of your electronics. From there, we get into some of the HDMI type devices. This is one of the units that you would just be plugging one in, and it has 3 outlets coming off of it. So it's almost like a triple tap adapter just for your charging cords. And then also all the other HDMI devices where you're going to all the color jacks in the back of your sets to your HDMIs. And there are also all the different cords, the cord lengths and so forth that come along with it. And these are the devices getting into any of your new computers, your new games, your new, Verizon, your Fios, and everything that you're doing and watching on Netflix and Hulu and everything else on it. These are all the cords. And the one thing that I try and stress when people are coming to me about hooking up their TVs and their computers or so forth, they get really scared about doing it. It's like, I can't do that. I don't know how to do it. I've read the book 2 or 3 times and so forth. It's really not as hard as you may think it is. You have coax cable, you have Cat5 cable, you have Cat6 cable, and just saying all these different things may sound scary and so forth with it, but it's not as if you're going to plug these into the wrong items. Your regular coax cable on here, it just has your regular hookup on it, and you get into the computer cables on it, you have the same hookups on it. And people are saying, well, I got a gray one, I got a blue one. The difference is the quality of the lines itself. You could be using Cat6 where you used Cat5, and the plugs are going to be identical on this. It's just going to the higher number, going to a 6 instead of a 5, you get a little better. It's just a little clearer, crisper. You get a better sound, you get a better picture and so forth with it. But the two really, they're interchangeable with it. This has been out a while. These are coming into the new type of items on it. And then when you're hooking stuff up, there's always splitters. You can get, this is just you have one coming in and 2 going out. You can get them, this is just a 2-way. You can get a 3-way. You can get a 4-way. You can get a 6-way, depending on how big of a system and so forth you have on here. And it's just a matter of your coax cables. They just hook directly onto there and split coming off. So if you have the different games that you're hooking up, the different systems you're looking up, it's just a matter of splitting the cables and everything off. And you always have an in, you always have an out. So it's just a matter of reading the device, reading what you're doing, or reading the manual of the TV itself. You read it, you are going to be able to follow it. It's not that hard. And you get into the different cables and so forth. Like I said, if you look on the back of your set, everything is going to be color coordinated with it. You're going to have your reds, you're going to have your whites, you're going to have your greens, your blues and so forth. And just as long as you're not colorblind, it's going to be a simple follow through of making sure that everything is hooked up together. And for those real experienced ones, you could get tools that they use to make your own. So if you're not into buying a cable here, a pre-made 25-foot cable, a 50-foot cable, or 100-foot cable, you could buy this cable in 1,000-foot rolls, and you could just put all your own ends on them. You can buy ends in small packages, you could buy ends in bulk packs, and then from there, this tool is just for crimping those ends onto it. So you can get the wire, you can cut the wire, you splice it, and you just crimp it, and you can make your own length of cord as long or as short or anything you need with it. Along with that, a couple of the last ones, these are your compact RF modulars. These are for hooking up your coax coming in and your blue cables not going out. These are more for your gaming type systems. So when you're into doing the gaming, the satellites and so forth, these are the type of splitters and converters and everything that you need to be hooking that up. And the last, your real basic, they actually do still make, I still call them rabbit ears. These are just a way of getting where you want to not have the cable and you just won't be running your own antennas. You can still get the old standby antennas that I know I grew up with, and probably a lot of you watching grew up with. So if you want to cut the cords, cut from the cables, you could get something in just some basic indoor type HDTV antennas and so forth. So this may seem like a lot. This may seem really overwhelming. It might be to some people, but that's what we're around for. Stop down the store, ask us, ask my staff for anything about it. We'll be easily able to explain all these different devices to you, from the speakers to the soundboards to the power strips. But if nothing else out there, you really should be using at least the better power strips, not your $2, $3 power strips. Get the power strips that have the number of outlets you need, have the wider ones for those transformer type plugs. You can get them with the USB ports, but the joule rating is everything on it. I'd love to see you getting somewhere around a 2,000 or at least over 1,000 in a joule rating on it. That way I know that your equipment, like I said, whether you got it for Christmas, a birthday, Valentine's Day, whatever the case may be, you want to protect that type of equipment. And so often I hear somebody coming in and saying, oh, my TV blew up. We had a lightning strike. We had a power surge and my TV got blown up and I just spent $1,000 on it. This is a way that you could protect it. So for 20 bucks, 30 bucks for your better type of power strip units, these are a way that you can really extend the life of your electronic equipment. Or with all those USB ports, making sure that if you have a chance, change the outlets in your house to getting the USB ports built right into the plugs. It's going to save getting tangled up with all those cords. And my house, we kind of keep it pretty neat with the cords sitting around. Have these in the bedroom, the nightstands, have these in the kitchen counter. So these are a way that you can really eliminate a lot of those cords, a lot of those transformers and so forth that are sitting around the house. Because realize if you have that transformer where your cords are plugged in and you keep that plugged in all the time, that transformer is actually using electricity even if you don't have that plugged into your phone. So doing away with those transformers are going to be a great way of helping to lower that electric bill. So I appreciate you tuning in. My name's Andy Amrine. This is our Handy Andy segments on BPTV, and we'll catch you around town soon. Thank you.